What if I told you that one of the greatest financial revolutions in human history started with a single document published anonymously on the internet? Published by someone whose true identity the world still does not know to this day? No press conference, no billion-dollar company behind it, no government approval. Just an idea, a radical, world-changing idea that the financial system as we knew it was broken and that there was a better way. That idea became Bitcoin. And whether you own one, whether you own a fraction, or whether you have never bought a single Satoshi in your life, Bitcoin has already changed the world you live in. And what it is about to do between now and the year 2050 is something most people are completely unprepared for. Stay with me through this entire video, because by the end of it, you are going to see Bitcoin in a way that you have never seen it before. Welcome to CryptoAi Predictor. We break down the biggest stories and opportunities in crypto. Hit that subscribe button and smash the like button right now. Now, let us go all the way back to the beginning, where it all started. To understand Bitcoin, you need to understand the world it was born into. The year is 2008. The global financial system is collapsing. Banks that were considered too big to fail are failing. Millions of ordinary people are losing their homes and savings. Not because of anything they did wrong, but because of reckless decisions made by a small group of powerful institutions that were playing with other people's money. Governments stepped in with trillions of dollars in bailouts. The people who caused the crisis were rescued. The people who suffered were left to figure it out. It was in this exact moment of anger and desperation that a person, or possibly a group, operating under the name Satoshi Nakamoto, published a document. It was called the Bitcoin White Paper. The title was simple: Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The idea inside was revolutionary. What if you could send money to anyone, anywhere, at any time, without needing a bank, without needing a government, without needing any middleman at all? What if two people could transact directly with each other, securely and transparently, using nothing but mathematics and code? That was the promise of Bitcoin. And on the 3rd of January 2009, Satoshi Nakamoto mined the very first Bitcoin block, known as the Genesis block. Embedded inside that block was a message, a headline from the Times newspaper. It was not a coincidence. It was a statement. Bitcoin was a response to a broken system. In the early days, Bitcoin was worth almost nothing. Programmers and cypherpunks passed it around as an experiment. The famous first real-world transaction happened when a programmer paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. At today's prices, those are worth hundreds of millions. How Bitcoin actually works. Now let us talk about what makes Bitcoin so special, because understanding the technology separates true believers from the hype. Bitcoin runs on something called a blockchain. Think of it as a public ledger, a record book that keeps track of every single Bitcoin transaction ever made. Instead of that book being stored in one place, like a bank's server, it is copied across thousands of computers all around the world. Nobody owns it. Every time a transaction happens, it is verified by a network of computers called miners. They solve complex mathematical puzzles to confirm transactions. In return for this work, they are rewarded with newly created Bitcoin. This process is called proof of work, and it is what keeps the entire network honest and secure. Now here is one of the most important features. Bitcoin has a fixed maximum supply of 21 million coins. That is it. There will never be more than 21 million in existence. Compare that to any other fiat currency, where governments can print as much as they want. Every time they print, the value of what you hold goes down. This is called inflation, and it is essentially a hidden tax on anyone who saves money in a bank account. Bitcoin cannot be inflated. Bitcoin cannot be printed. It cannot be confiscated by a government pressing a button. That is a financial philosophy and a lifeline for millions. Why Bitcoin is good for people. This brings us to the most important question. Why does Bitcoin matter for regular people? Not for Wall Street, but for human beings. Right now, there are approximately 1.4 billion adults in the world who do not have access to a bank account. They cannot save money safely. They cannot access loans or financial services. They are completely excluded from the global financial system, not because of choice, but because of the system. Bitcoin changes that. All you need is a smartphone and an internet connection, no credit history, no permission. You are your own bank. Think about a worker in a developing country sending money home. Traditional services charge 5 to 10%. On Bitcoin, it's a tiny fraction. The money arrives faster. For a family living on a tight budget, that difference is not trivial. That difference is food on the table. Now let us talk about inflation. In countries like Venezuela or Argentina, people have watched their life savings disappear because of government printing. Bitcoin has no central bank. It cannot be devalued by a political decision. In countries experiencing collapse, Bitcoin has literally saved families. This is about financial sovereignty. When your money is in a bank, the bank can freeze your account. When it is in your wallet, nobody can touch it. For billions living under authoritarian governments, that kind of financial freedom is not a luxury. It is a matter of survival. Bitcoin's journey to where it is today. The road from a white paper to a global asset has been anything but smooth. It has been declared dead by mainstream media over 400 times. It has crashed 80 or 90% multiple times. It has survived hacks and bans. And every single time, without exception, Bitcoin has come back stronger. Each cycle, the lows were higher than the previous cycle's highs. El Salvador made history by adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. Major corporations added Bitcoin to their balance sheets. Spot ETFs were approved in the US. Bitcoin is no longer just an experiment. It is a global asset class, and we are still in the relatively early stages of its adoption curve. The future, Bitcoin in 2050. Now let us talk about what most people really want to know. Where is Bitcoin going? What does the world look like in 2050? By 2050, I believe Bitcoin will be the world's premier store of value, the digital equivalent of gold, but superior in almost every measurable way. It is more portable, more divisible, and more scarce. Gold can be mined more if the price rises. Bitcoin cannot. The 21 million limit is absolute. Many serious analysts project prices in the range of $500,000 to several $1 million by 2050. These are based on adoption models and global wealth. By 2050, I believe entire countries will hold Bitcoin as part of their national reserves. It will become a standard component of sovereign wealth management. I believe the Lightning Network will have scaled to where billions of daily microtransactions happen on Bitcoin's rails, making it a practical global payment system. The people who understood Bitcoin early will look back on this moment the same way early internet investors look back on the 90s. We are still in the opening chapter. We have covered a lot today, from a mysterious white paper in 2008 to a global revolution in freedom that is reshaping the world as we know it. Bitcoin was not created for the wealthy. It was created for the people, for the unbanked, for anyone failed by a system not designed to serve them. If this gave you value, please hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications to join the CryptoAi Predictor community. The future is being built right now, and I will see you in the next video. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. Cryptocurrency is volatile.